Exactly.
Right.
But none of them believed me.
Next time?
An antique's value is in the eye
Time
of the
itself is a silent song.
Yep, you're right.
Exactly. But none of them believed me.
Time itself is a silent song.
An antique's value is in the eye of the beholder.
Rebooting.
Yep, you're right.
Can we play Banker next time?
Exactly. But none of them believed me.
Time itself is a silent song.
An antique's value is in the eye of the beholder.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much?
Exactly. But none of them believed me.
Time itself is a silent song.
An antique's value is in the eye of the beholder.
Yep, you're right.
Exactly.
Boring!
None of them believed
Isn't there anything else more interesting to do?
Can we play Banker next time?
Time itself is a silent
In
song.
the eye of the beholder.
Yep, you're right.
Exactly. But none of them believed me.
Time itself is a silent song.
An antique's value is in the eye of the
You're right.
This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a great magician standing right here. You don't want to miss the best part, do you?
Meow. Oh, it's you. 1 second. Now activating chat mode. You made me jump there. I thought they'd finally caught me. Objectively speaking, the trouble was entirely of my own making. Half an hour ago, I was at Hotel de Boer for a drinks reception. It was to celebrate the successful opening of a show, but it was draining my energy. So, I waited for the right moment, then snuck away so I could switch to standby mode. Probably because I'm playing the lead role in the show? Is that so surprising? I'm always getting invitations to do solo performances. I just usually get Linny to write back and turn them down. But then came the Fontanalia Film Festival. We took all the kids from the House of the Hearth out to see a film, and after it finished, they all started clamoring for me to try out acting for some reason. Even Linny was chanting along with them. Anyway, it just so happened that a director called Mary had sent me an invitation right around then. I'll spare you the details, but basically, I ended up accepting it. Yep, you nailed it. I'm playing the role of a puppet. In fact, the show's called The Lost Puppet, and it's a masked mime show. So, I don't have to do any facial expressions or say any lines. Literally just a series of physical movements. The direct art is not comprehended by the mind, but felt in the heart. At least, that's what the director says. Anyway, if nothing else, the opening performance seemed to go down well. At the drinks reception, everyone was crowding around me, saying, "Triumphant character portrayal, faithful adaptation of the original work, unequivocally, quintessentially avant-garde," and stuff like that. But being the center of attention is draining. So the moment they left me to go harass the director instead, I was out of there. The other thing is, some weird things happened while I was on the stage. Oh, sorry, Bonnie. I didn't mean to leave you out of the conversation. My bad. No, we just met. We bumped into each other right after I slipped away. Well, it'd be kind of difficult for us to communicate otherwise. Besides, I think she's taken a liking to the name. Haven't you, Bonnie? Yeah, that's right. Good kitty. We'll go find your owner soon, I promise. Nope. She's wearing a collar, and for the most part, she's pretty well groomed. If she is a stray, she hasn't been for long. Her stomach's been growling a lot. I guess she must have been missing for a few days now. As much as I'd love to hang out with her for a while longer, her owner's probably worried sick about her. Assuming she has an owner, that is. But the reception... I should probably show my face there again at some point. Well, I just find it exhausting, thinking through all the different ramifications of different choices and so on. That's more Linny's area than mine. So, unless it's something really important, I usually just leave the decision-making to him. It's fine. He got Fremine to make me a little something for just this situation. Poof! A phaetometer. It looks pretty over the top, I know, but it's essentially just a box of cards. He kept the design simple, so it'd be harder to break. The way it works is, I pick a card at random, then look at the number on the card. Well, for example, if the number on the card is 5 or higher, I help Bonnie find her owner. If it's less than 5, I go back to the reception. I just have to believe in the bond between me and my cards, and my fate will reveal itself to me in numerical form. At least, that's what Linny said. Anyway, I guess I'll give you a demonstration. Huh, I didn't like that. Was I using it wrong? Maybe if I just... Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron out. I'll have to let Fremine know. Let's see, which card did I get? 4. Well, the cards fell on the ground though, so I don't think it counts as fate. If you want to get the right answer, you have to let fate decide. Also something Linny said. So, to put it another way, if picking a card up off the ground is how to not leave it to fate, then that means it must be the wrong answer. Or... why don't you pick a card? Since I ran into you here, that means... our fates are, like, interfering with each other. Thank you. This one is final, I promise. Here, take the fatometer. If it's 5 or above, that means fate successfully changed. Anything lower than 5 is a fail. Also, if you have your own thoughts about what I should do, feel free to share it. Now that I've got... All right. So, we're looking for Bonnie's owner? There's 20 cards in total, numbered 1 to 20. So there's only a 1 in 5 chance of drawing less than a 5. I should also mention, this time the cutoff was 5, but I just set that to wherever I feel like. To put it in perspective, I said I'd only do the show if I drew a 1. Fate can be pretty sneaky sometimes. I think I'll go to the Steambird and see about putting an ad in the paper.
Hip! Hup! Hup!
Every stupendous day starts with a Steambird. Oh, hi Lynette. Hi, Traveler. What can I help you with? I don't think so.
Yep. If there's no commission to follow up on, could we post a notice about the missing cat instead?
Why, of course. What a kind thing to do. Just fill out the form.
Well, we've registered you as missing. You can stay at my place until your owner finds you. Also, I just wanted to say thanks for keeping us company for so long. Well, I should probably head back to the drinks reception. If you've got some time, you should stop by my place tomorrow to see Bonnie. All right, see you then.
I believe this cat belongs to me.
I already told you, this isn't your cat.
Just take a breather, you two. Oh, you're here. As you can probably see, you'll have to take a rain check on that tea I promised you.
This is my friend's cat. He's preoccupied with some important business, so I came to retrieve her in his stead.
No. It's far more likely this cat escaped from the Humane Society. Bonnie?
That's the name I've given her in the meantime. Well, this complicates things.
I told you before. This is my friend's cat. It's...
Listen, I'm the director of the Humane Society, okay? We've got so many strays. She just looked somewhat familiar, so I came. If she turns out to be one of ours, I'll take her back. Simple as that. We're an organization that specializes...
The Humane Society.
Yes, that's the one. If it turns out I really am mistaken, I suppose that means the cat belongs to this lady here.
It belongs to my friend.
Go on, Bonnie.
Oh, nope. Looks like I was mistaken. Well, I suppose this means I still have a missing cat to search for.
Yes, exactly.
Wait a second. You lied earlier, didn't you?
Lied? I'm afraid I don't know what you mean.
A liar always has a tell. The look in their eyes, their breathing pattern, the way they...
What are you talking about?
Normally, when someone is called out, their breathing speeds up as they begin to... If you're a bad guy, I'm sure you'll take off running the first...
And your...
Intuition. Nothing more.
Intuition. Well, I have to hand it to you, Lynette. You're right. I'm a member of the Guards. The name's Elodie. I'm currently investigating a cross-border smuggling case. A couple of days ago, our suspect got wind that we were on his tail and fled. I just so happened to stumble upon your notice in the Steambird. So, I decided to see if he'd come back for her. But the impact of this case has been huge. The Marechaussee Phantom, the Guards, and the Special Patrol have all launched investigations. A new kind of illegal drug, imitation synth. We confiscated all the synth on the market, but addiction isn't something that goes away overnight, and criminals are all too eager to capitalize on that addiction. That was after the original synth debacle. We put several measures into place to prevent similar incidents from occurring. We only recently got word of the presence of imitation synth overseas. We managed to track down evidence of some early transactions. The Marechaussee Phantom launched an investigation to track down every person in Fontaine capable of producing a drug like that. He's a researcher at the Fontaine Research Institute. His name is Pierre. Pierre Lafayette, to be exact.
Lefebvre.
The Marechaussee Phantom found him in Poisson. In addition to the cat, he also had a pendant with him. At first, there wasn't much cause for suspicion. It was only later that we realized the coat of arms on his... Obviously, this discovery prompted a further investigation into...
That's not possible, actually. The Lefebvre family has been gone for a long...
Exactly. Many years ago, the family has engaged in all manner of crimes. Pierre is one of those very survivors. He's been hiding away in the Fontaine Research Institute all these years. Well, my fellow guards have told me all about how there could be a chance that Pierre or one of his accomplices... If I take Bonnie back to the guards with me... I have to admit, I'm not holding out... Well, I've got some other...
It's nothing. It's just... the head of the Lefebvre family. He was the eminent person who kidnapped me all those years ago. It was at a dinner party. Someone tricked me into boarding the Lefebvre family, but before anything worse could happen, Father intervened. Yep. Father was the one who orchestrated the fall of the Lefebvre family. After all these years. I never thought I'd hear the Lefebvre name again. Don't worry about me. He's been acting strange recently. Thinking about it now, it's almost like the one I drew from that deck of cards was part of his plan. It's very possible. I'm sure he tried to send me, even after all these years. You'll have to help me teach him a lesson if we run into him along the way. Yep. I want to head to the Fontaine Research Institute to learn more information about Pierre. A little bit of both, perhaps. For the most part, though, I just have the sense that something's not right. Okay, I'll write a letter explaining everything to the...
Of course, there's no way to ensure that you'll never slip up when performing magic. The way I see it, the point is not to perform perfectly, but to stay calm at all times and adapt. It's neat. Even if some small flaws occur, you just need to make the audience believe that it's all part of the show, and you'll still deliver an entertaining and unforgettable performance.
Like this tomorrow as well.
This is no time for distractions. Seriously, you have a great magician standing right here. You don't want to miss the best part, do you?
Where do I even start with all the accounting?
Lynette, you're, not at rehearsal?
You can drop the act, brother. In fact, I don't think either of us will have a need for acting anytime soon. You should know better than to try and keep something from me. You've never been able to do that, even when we were kids.
And that's why I tried to distract you with the masked mime show. But I guess you're just too good.
Care to introduce us to your new assistant?
This is Officer Shovras, captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol.
Nice to see you. I should clarify something. Mr. Linney's here at my invitation, not the other way around. To borrow your expression, Miss Lynette, I suppose that would make him my assistant more than anything. We've brought on Mr. Linney as a consultant in the past. He was instrumental in helping us crack a case involving a perpetrator who used magic tricks to commit crimes.
So you've heard everything then?
That's exactly why we're here. There's always been questions surrounding the fall of the Lefebvre family. Some people even believe the House of the Hearth was involved. Whoever was behind it all was extremely cautious. They didn't leave a shred of evidence. This very fact, however, leads me to believe it was indeed the work of that harbinger. I took a look at the entrance and exit records of all the carriages that night. Let's just say it wasn't hard to deduce that there's ill will between you two. Don't worry, I don't have any evidence to that effect, and I certainly don't plan on going to bat for such a despicable family. Plus, you were victims back then more than anything. I sought Mr. Linney's help with the smuggling case, nothing more. The way I look at it, it's a collaboration between us as people, not at all. I was planning to invite you from the very beginning, Miss Lynette. It's just that my assistant here raised some objections.
Linny, I'm not the same person I was back then. That little girl who did nothing but cower in the corner in fear, she doesn't need saving anymore.
I'm sorry, Lynette. You're right. I let my concerns get the better of me.
Oh, and the next time you want to distract me, you should try a different approach.
Who's this? You pick up a stray while I was gone?
It's a bit complicated. I'll explain later. Anyway, her name's Bonnie.
Well, if there are no objections, then I suppose the only thing left to say is... Lynette, Traveler, welcome to the team.
It appears the Lefebvre family was very particular in their use of insignias and emblems. The family would use different emblems to mark differences in status, blood relation, and the like. In fact, the insignia that was discovered on the pendant was used to represent an illegitimate child.
It's highly likely. That very status might have been what allowed him to emerge from the fall of his family relatively unscathed. It would also explain why he was able to assume a new identity as a researcher with relative ease.
We discovered something interesting, though. After talking to some of his co-workers, it appears he pretty much works at the Institute in name only. He's practically been cast out.
Apparently, Pierre was once addicted to synth. He tried to use the resources at the Institute to create a substance with a similar effect. He claimed it was just for research purposes, but the Institute revoked his access to the relevant materials regardless. But it seems the Institute ran into some trouble along the way. Could have been a lack of personnel or a timing issue. As for his family background, it appears none of his co-workers at the Institute were aware of that information. Other than the pendant, we didn't find anything else of note at his residence in Poisson. Based on the samples of imitation synth we've been able to analyze, those traces might not be obvious to the casual observer. But we didn't find any records indicating possible involvement in overseas transactions either.
Maybe he had a separate, dedicated area where he made the imitation synth.
Well, his neighbors did say he was often gone for long stretches of time. You would think with him out and about so much, people would have spotted him around Poisson, but residents said they barely ever saw him in town. If his reclusive nature was just a matter of keeping a low profile, I guess it would make sense for him to have a secret base to carry out his business.
After he disappeared, the guards conducted a thorough search of Poisson, but they didn't come across any suspicious locations.
Poisson. You know Hotel de Boer, where I first found Bonnie? To get there from Poisson, you have to cross a stretch of ocean. It's not somewhere a cat could just wander off on its own.
A cat? You mean...
Bonnie is Pierre's cat.
Oh, that's right! When the Marechaussee Phantom first tracked him down, I remember there being something about a cat in their report. So this is her?
From what we've learned about Pierre's habits, he doesn't seem like the type to venture out without a purpose. So what you're saying, Lynette, is that Bonnie couldn't have gone missing in Poisson. If that's true...
Exactly. Bonnie might even know where it is.
Wait, you think the cat can lead us there? But she's not trained like one of our guard poodles. How is she supposed to understand what we want her to do?
Guess she's a little skittish around strangers. Meow. Meow meow. Meow. Near the coast, the beach, and beneath the cliffs. The place we're looking for is most likely north of the Court of Fontaine.
Well, I've certainly never taken a witness statement like this before.
Well, if it works out, maybe it's something worth getting used to.
Cats and humans are actually pretty alike. When it comes to communication, most of what we want to convey can be accomplished through body language alone. Of course, body language has its limitations. You're not going to be able to get across anything too complicated.
The important thing is that we now have a lead. Let's try and find a place that matches the clues Bonnie gave us.
What should be next?
All unclaimed articles should be turned in. So, neither of us saw anything here, right?
I'll be able to continue with my hydrology research.
And now I'll make it all disappear. Just kidding.
Seems like Bonnie is trying to take us somewhere. Gardemex ahead.
Look out!
Let the mighty be humbled!
Run away now.
Don't interfere.
Have a safe trip.
Silence!
Now disappear!
Wow, Lynette, you found this place so easily. If I thought there was any chance you'd say yes, I'd recruit you into the Special Patrol here and now. No question.
Sounds familiar. I pretty much receive letters daily from people trying to poach her from me.
Let's just focus on our search. There's a lot to investigate.
I created another universe and founded paradise. For I, Fischl, am the Prinzessin der Verirrt.
So long as the audience thinks that seeing is believing, there's no limit to the number of tricks I can pull off. The material these bags are made of... it's the very same, actually. Romaritime flower fiber. But there's something special about the composition of these bags. Even the strings look specially designed to keep... I came across some bags made of the same material just now, but very similar, actually. Normally, it would be easy for a guard poodle to... but what could these big bags be for, then?
Aha! Just as we thought. This is where the imitation synth was being made. Looks like he's got more than just imitation synths stashed around here. These cleaning agents are likely used to dispel traces of the Special Patrol did some digging into imitation synth. It must have taken a considerable amount, but what are these other drugs for?
When the Marechaussee Phantom searched Pierre's house, there was no sign of these barrels, right? You're right. Only the lower halves of the barrels appear to have...
Based on the various ingredients we've found, this appears to be where Pierre was cooking up his imitations. It looks like he used a special cleaning agent to get rid of any residual traces of the substance.
So then he transferred the imitation synth into small...
No. I don't believe our suspect is the kind of person who'd go around the cleaning agent and the sealed bags might get past the guard poodles.
The barrels we found were wet around the base, but the top... If you put a barrel in the water, it will normally float on its side.
Yes. With flotation rings around the body of the barrels, they'd stay upright in the water.
You think he used floating barrels?
But then, wouldn't the barrels be carried off by the waves or the currents? How would the...
Traveler, can you come take a dip in the sea with me?
I can't believe how much progress we're making with this investigation.
It's rare to see Lynette in serious mode. I wonder how long she'll keep it activated for.
This isn't the place. This isn't the place. The wreckage of a small boat? Got it. Time to go up and report. As expected, we found a few pieces of rope and some anchoring stones underwater. If you attach them to a floating barrel, it would look like this. With this anchoring system, it would be possible to use floating barrels for the drop-off. You would just need to drop them in the water at the agreed-upon location. We also came across the wreckage of a small boat. It must have been left out on the water and capsized due to the force of the wind and waves. Its small size, however, would have made it perfect for staying undetected.
Let's talk this through. Based on the evidence we've collected, it seems like Pierre would row a small boat out to the agreed-upon transfer point. Drop off the...
It could be that he was trying to avoid meeting up with his associate.
It seems like Pierre deliberately chose the floating barrel.
Well, if that's the case, they must not have a very close working relationship.
Let's not jump to any conclusions just yet. The most important thing is that we can now confirm Pierre wasn't acting alone. Let's say for now that he was only in charge of producing the imitation synth. That would mean there has to be at least one other person involved in the operation.
Since we've determined that the goods were
we can certainly check the various ports for that information. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we were never able to find out how they managed. You're right. Whatever, they must have found a way to disguise the imitation synth to clear port. Exactly.
I'll run home and ask some of my brothers and sisters.
I should also head back and update my platoon on our progress.
All right. Come on, Bonnie. You too.
Oh, Lynette, Traveler. And Bonnie, too. What brings you all here?
Did something happen?
Oh. I see. I'm in charge of guarding the port. You mentioned you were after some travelogues, right?
Looks like I've got another hard day of work ahead of me. No, not usually. It's this incident that happened recently. Before that, everything was normal. But things are much more complicated now.
By suspicious cargo, do you mean?
Yep. However, prohibited substances are just one example.
So what happens to the goods you confiscate?
Oh, we keep them in a storage locker. If the goods are only slightly suspicious but could otherwise be harmless...
Sorry for the wait.
Oh, you brought Gerard with you.
Actually, he followed me here himself. Huh. I wonder why Gerard is reacting to you two so strongly.
Huh? We were so careful not to touch it, but we...
Why don't you have a look at the travelogues first?
The Humane Society. Their name is all over the exit logs.
Ah, the director of the organization explained that, actually.
Bernard, the director of the Humane... Have you figured it out too, Travel? When Bernard asked to take a closer look at Bonnie...
Wait, what?
The sealed bags we found at the secret base. There were gaps around the lids of the barrels, and airbags were used to keep them upright in the water. Those drug shovers found at the secret base. She most likely didn't recognize them because Pierre must have made the animals swallow the sealed bags full of
The sealed bags combined with an animal's body odor.
During our inspections, we would have never thought to inspect the...
Exactly. I bet Bernard even transported animals with synth in their stomach alongside ones without. She's probably in the clear. Just imagine. He sees the notice we put in the... If Pierre had already hidden the next batch of imitation synth...
So, that's why he came to find you.
Wait a second, I'm a little lost here. If you've got something as convenient as a floating barrel, why not just stuff it with the
In order to make sure the animals could swallow the sealed bags, they made them extremely thin. That step would have required a lot of energy, as we've already proven how easy it is to pick up
Okay. Then, let's head to the Humane Society right away and bring that guy to justice. I'll bring a Gardemec to speed up the process.
Sorry, but I can't go with you. Surely you'll be able to handle him, between Elodie's Gardemec and all three of you?
The situation in Louis Harbor is no good.
There aren't any prospects here.
The headquarters of the Humane Society should be somewhere...
You're the people from earlier. Wait, you're from the guards?
After him! We can't let him get away! Give it up, Bernard.
Mercy. Have mercy. I'll talk. I'll tell you everything.
The Humane Society has done so much good over the years.
Look, I didn't have a choice, okay? My father cared about those blasted animals so much, he didn't bother to take care of...
No one asked. Tell me, how did you first get to know Pierre?
Well, after I took over the Humane Society, it gradually became harder and harder to maintain its operations. It's said that I could stand to get a large sum of money as long as I helped them to transport some animals abroad. It was only after a few such transports that I finally understood what I was really transporting. But then, Pierre wrote to me, saying that I would order wooden barrels and flotation devices. And a few days after that, that guy Pierre, he was running the entire... Look, I don't know, okay?
And when did he send his final letter to you?
Just last night. He said that the Maréchaussée fan...
It's been a few days since Pierre's last appearance.
I burned them.
Sure sounds like you're trying to use the lack of witnesses or evidence.
No, I swear, this time I'm only...
Well, we can check the truth of your statement.
I know, I swear I was...
My thanks to you both.
Bonnie helped, too.
That's true. It was all thanks to her that Bernard was finally... And it looks like she's grown quite fond of you two as well.
It was that obvious, huh? We investigated so quickly that perhaps we've missed... Is there still anything unresolved? The Maréchaussée Phantom found Bonnie... Why would he leave such an obvious trick? Bernard claims to have received a letter. If Bonnie had imitation synth in her body, then and thinking about it, Bernard, could it be that the person who wrote the letter well, we've discovered that Bernard is... There's no need to rush. Perhaps...
Now behave, and
That hurt.
Is there something else you need from me, Traveler?
Huh?
I see. It all makes sense now.
Hey, what are you talking about? Look, even our confessed criminal here has no idea what you're saying.
Because he has been kept in the dark all along. And I assume it's the same with Pierre. That never quite added up for me. Why did Pierre feel compelled to return to his home with Bonnie and the pendant, and make them so easy to find for the Both of these things are in stark contrast to his usual. He probably received the following instructions right before the Phantom came knocking. Unbeknownst to him, however, the third person who wrote that letter to him had...
What?
If you focus only on Bernard's testimony, it's easy to believe that only Bernard and Pierre were working together. The case of...
Wait.
Yep, which is why the third person... Once they had instructed Pierre to expose himself, the third person wrote to Pierre again, suggesting that everything had been taken care of, and he should... Of course, Pierre's disappearance at such a sensitive time immediately... All the third person would have to do from that point on would be to lead the Phantom to investigate the...
Wait, so you're saying...
Is that what happened?
Chevra said that assumptions can be detrimental to solving a case. They suggested that Pierre's disappearance was an attempt to escape the judge, but if the disappearance is truly just a cover-up for a murder, then couldn't the true sign have been an illegitimate daughter, rather than an illegitimate son?
Huh?
Haven't you taken this joke a bit too far? You're right. I did let a lot of assumptions get to my head when I...
You deliberately fed us lies. But getting the Marechaussee Phantom to notice Pierre was only the first part, and you couldn't predict what they might possibly find, if given enough time. As someone accustomed to acting from behind the scenes, you didn't want to take the risk of personally proposing a raid on the Humane. Once the Phantom expanded their search, it wouldn't be long until the Phantom would figure out exactly how she had been mistreated, and turn their eyes towards the one organization that has been sent. It was probably during your ambush of Pierre. Still, you soon found another opportunity. Like Bernard, you desperately wanted to confirm the contents of her stomach, so you hurried to find us. Unlike Bernard, however, you were hoping that Pierre did have the time to make her swallow a load of imitation synth. While investigating the suspect's cat, we unexpectedly discovered that the suspect has been smuggling imitation synth using living animals as intermediaries. that Bonnie had managed to escape before Pierre was able to stuff her full of imitation. You manipulated the Traveler and I to help you identify Bernard as a key suspect. You used the Lefebvre name as bait to get us to join your investigation. With
So, what you're saying is, I went to all that trouble just for the chance that you might put forth the suggestion.
Of course, you did far more than that. Just now at Lumiduce Harbor. You even highlighted the Society's activities during your compilation. Moreover, the logs contained no records of the Port Authority's activities. In other words, your activities.
And what are you trying to suggest with—
I am insinuating that you had plenty of opportunities to transfer the raw materials for imitation synth from the harbor to— And that's how neither the trafficker nor the manufacturer knew there was a third person who supplied the raw materials. Pierre manufactured imitation synth using the raw materials you provided, having received the green light from you as Pierre.
I can't believe it.
So what do you think she's going to say next?
But do you have any evidence?
It appears that it's quite easy to predict what you'll think or say. Then if we apply that to this case, we can also think of a few places to look for incriminating evidence. You know very well that this case will not end until Pierre is found. So that way, you can also pin the blame for the overseas smuggling activities, but you still want it to appear as if he had sent that last letter to Bernard. To do that, you either will hide his body until you found an appropriate time to set up the location would ideally allow you to keep the body hidden for some time, while also letting you keep an eye on it. There are only so many options to hide it, especially since, as the prime suspect who will now be taken—
How absurd.
Elodie Lefebvre! As the captain of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, I hereby declare you as a suspect in the case. If you have any objections, you may raise them later during interrogation.
That's right. We received a message from Lumiduce Harbor that you were going to investigate the Humane Society.
While at the harbor, we noticed something else extremely and if one were to match the times of your shifts to the activities of the Humane Society and those—
That's just a coincidence.
Yes, I'm sure you have already thought of a dozen—
Don't worry. If it turns out that the guards are still unable to find any
Although judging by her reaction, I assume no follow-up from us will—
The Lefebvres were infamous for using disguise and infiltration to achieve their goals.
Judging from the timeline, they likely arranged for you to enter the guards before the fall of the clan.
Not only that, but you brutally and cruelly abandoned your allies as soon as they
So you played me like a fool after all? Ah!
What was that word you used? Ally? You think that someone as foolish as him is They were worthless scum. All of them. I lost all my chances of a normal life just because I was born into— I had to live in constant fear of them while they were alive. And even once they were gone. Do you know anything about what I've been through over all these years? My life as the last Lefebvre?
I don't, and neither do I care.
Are you for real?
Elodie, you're the only one still living under the shadow of a name.
That's enough. Keep your hands where I can see them and do not resist arrest.
What a joke. What a joke! Hey! Don't come any closer!
What's that?
Know what this is? I've secretly planted loads of explosives in the Humane Society. Whether they're cats, dogs, or just unlucky human employees. They'll all be blown up into smithereens. Surely, you bunch of goody two-shoes won't let that happen, right?
I can understand how you feel. Like you, we are also victims of the Lefebvre clan. But if you were to endanger innocence now for your own gain, the public anger towards the Lefebvres would only rise to a boiling point. And the families of the new victims would be dead set on exacting revenge on you.
And what of it?
I'll be your hostage, Elodie.
What?
Thanks for your concern, Traveler. But we need to end all of the hate and violence arising from this clan once and I'll raise my hands and come over slowly. I promise that I'm completely unarmed.
I'm watching you. Don't think for a second you can pull a fast one on—
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Ah!
Phew. So I was right after all. It's easier to deal with the person causing the problem than the problem. This is it. Looks like it's just a toy.
Guess that's probably why she suddenly flipped and knocked out Bernard. He probably knew that there were no explosives at the society.
Well, given that she never even showed her face to Bernard.
Thank you for your help, everyone. I'll take them back for thorough questioning and find some—
if statements are all you need, can Linny provide them on my behalf? I still need to go back and explain some things to the crew. Ah, so you do remember. Yes, I invited you to come over to our place. Once I'm done talking with the troupe, I'll make a nice cup of tea and bring Bonnie to wait for you outside of my door.
Lynette must have spent a record-breaking amount of time in serious mode today. I can't remember the last time I've seen her like that. Could it be because of a special someone? Based on information that I'd assume that the first offerings of imitation synth Elodie saw the opportunity to make a great profit in his work. She started writing to him in Bernard's name. Unfortunately for her, she ran into Lynette. Even though my sister doesn't— Still, all of that thinking really saps her energy. Lynette must have spent a record-breaking— I'd assume that the Elodie saw the she started writing to him. Unfortunately, still.
You can leave the rest of this to me. The other guards will be joining me shortly. Don't worry. The harbor would usually just seize them, given that the foreign merchants who sent in— We will, of course, continue—
Black tea and a cute kitty. Truly the best combo for standby mode. Want some? I see she's already starting to snuggle up to you. Not at all. Information is indeed very important. But if you just think about it, what sounds more fun? writing a great answer. That'd be my pick too. Had we not run into that case, we could have spent the entire day like this. But now I'm running low on both time and energy. You're right. I can sense it. I'm recharging very quickly at the moment. Something about her rubbed me the wrong way since the very beginning. But Elodie tried to get close, but Bonnie deliberately dodged her. Not everyone who likes cats is a good person. But if cats like you, you're probably alright. Humans tend to overthink things, but she took a liking to you the moment you met.
I wonder what my dear sister Lynette is doing right now. Missing me to death, I'm sure.
Now behave. And
Ow! That hurt. Ow!
Is everything really over? I still feel like also, I've had this. No good. I've still got nothing, and I'm nearly out of energy. All right, I'll stop thinking about it for now. Let's go to the Humane Society before my energy for today completes. I didn't like. Clearly, there's some design flaws to. Let's see. 4. Well, if you want to get the right. So, to put it another way, if. Or. Thank you. Here, take the photometer. Also, if you have your own thoughts about what. Huh? What you're saying is, since nobody's come looking, I can just keep hanging out with Bonnie for a bit longer? Is that really okay? You make a good point. Okay, well, assuming Bonnie hasn't strayed too far from where she went missing. So, stick around here in standby mode? Yeah. Oh, good idea. Bonnie's definitely hungry. May as well. We could be here a while. When I was trying to find somewhere I could space out earlier... Alright then. Plan of action? Spend the whole day spacing out. I mean, in standby mode. I didn't like... Clearly, there's some design flaws to iron out. Let's see... Which Back to the drinks. Nope, I said it was your decision. I'm not gonna waste any more energy dragging my... Besides, the drinks reception is technically part of the job as an official publicity event. I might get sued for breach of contract, and that would... one other thing. Do you want to come with me? Thanks.
Hip. Hup. Hup.
There you are, Lynette! Where did you disappear to? Leone and I have been looking everywhere for you. Wait, where did you get the cat?
I found her outside. Do either of you happen to recognize her?
I don't think so. Could belong to one of the guests, I suppose.
Fair enough. It was a long shot.
So sorry we couldn't help you, Lynette.
Don't worry. We'll ask around for you.
Maybe you could leave her with us.
Sure. I would help, but I'm a little preoccupied.
It's no trouble at all.
Also, if it's no trouble, I mean...
Leone! You can't spring that on her now. One last thing, Lynette. Director Mary is looking for you.
I'm not usually required at these kinds of events, so I don't even have an event mode. Alright, guess I'd better go see the director.
Spectacular choreography, a masterpiece of mise-en-scène.
Yes, I for one was particularly such a pioneering work.
I can already see the headlines of tomorrow's newspapers.
But it was a group effort, of course.
Speaking of the cast, Jillian, another strong performance from you.
That's quite an overstatement. I've only ever played supporting roles.
On that point, you stated a few months ago in an interview that you were looking...
We had a discussion about this, and quite simply, this...
Exactly. I was honored to share the stage with her.
Oh, Lynette's back!
Hey, Lynette, where have you been?
Are you in standby mode? Some reports say you switched that state to recharge after a show.
Ah, method acting, of course. Such a compelling portrayal of a mechanical puppet could only...
Those seemingly stilted movements were in fact an inspired portrayal of the character.
I went outside and there was this cat there, so I played with the cat for a bit.
A cat? We've long heard that you were a
This show looks on track to break box office records for
Not really, no.
I believe Lynette is trying to... Oh, I see.
Right, exactly.
But don't you want the fans to know how you're feeling right now?
That's true.
I'm sure the fans would love to learn
How interesting.
Oh, really?
Huh? Wait.
Wow! Are you a fan of Lynette too? Do you...
Yeah, it's just... Turns out, even with you here to share the load, I can't cope with this stuff, even in tea party mode. It's a power-saving mode for participating in conversation at tea parties. Normally, I can get through an entire conversation just with, Oh, that's true. And how interesting. But at a tea party, I'm not normally subjected to a constant stream of questions. I think I'd rather pray that I never have to do it again.
Lynette, Director Mariu would like you to join the group photo to commemorate the successful opening.
A group photo?
It's just the members of the troupe, along...
Alright then.
3, 2, 1, smile.
My thanks to each and every... You can collect your copy from the first...
Mariu!
I thought the group photo was the final hurdle.
Hotel de Bour's Ile Flottante is as wonderfully sweet as ever. Traveler? Lynette? Oh, wait, hold on. What do you mean, managed to get an invite? I'm an expert in the dramatic arts. Of course I was invited. Naturally, people wanted to hear my comments on the emerging art form that is the masked mime show. Remarkable, and a very worthwhile artistic endeavor, exploring a character with no lines or facial expressions who can only communicate how they feel through their movement. Your performance was beyond anything I could have imagined, Lynette. Is something wrong?
No, it's nothing. Please go on.
Oh, basically, I think I'd give it a positive review overall. Just...
So, you thought they were pretty over the top too?
In fairness, it's normal to... Then again, I'm no specialist in avant-garde theater. Maybe I'm just not well acquainted with their review criteria. Or maybe it's because I came to the show with some preconceived expectations. I did happen to see the
What original draft?
Oh? He didn't show it to you? It must have been a few months ago. I had a lot on my plate at the time, so I had to turn him down. I don't know. The protagonist just seemed more complex, I guess. Especially in the last two scenes.
Emotional depth?
Oh, I'm just thinking aloud here. Don't take it to heart. This, especially with a novel art form like a masked mime. Change of topic. I see you've escaped the crowds to seek refuge on the side.
No thanks, I'm good.
Hey, at least let me finish. I have top tips on dealing with belligerent reporters, slipping away to hunt down snacks during the intermission.
Tell me everything.
First, take a seat, mon ami. We must partake of Hotel de Bour's fine desserts as we talk.
That was very educational. I expect most of the people downstairs have left by now. photo must be in this envelope right here. If it wasn't for you, I don't know how I would have standby moded my way through the It's fine. It's just... It was such a minor thing. While I was on stage, there was a moment when I got a vague sense of it again during... Normally, I'm used to lurking in the shadows on the stage and spying on other people. Or someone just took a disliking to me for no reason. Okay, problem solved. I'm gonna take this envelope and go home now. You have destroyed this work of... I don't think we're gonna find any more clues here. Yes, let's. Whatever destroyed means...
I can't believe how well the...
How could I ever...
See? I told you. All the time she... Can you imagine if you'd gone with Jillian?
True. Well, Jillian still needs to get a few more productions on...
Do you have a moment, Director Mario?
Oh!
Ah, if it isn't the star of the show! We were just talking about you. I'm guessing you're here to discuss the show with the director? Oh, you're a talented and hardworking actress, Lynette. I'll leave you artists to discuss your work in...
I certainly will. Lynette?
Mr. Maloney. An investor or something, I think.
So, what can I do for the two of you?
We heard that the original script for The Lost Puppet was quite different from the final show.
Oh! Well, this is a surprise. It's not uncommon for scripts to undergo a mechanical puppet with a bumbling body, but there's no doubt about it. You...
Sorry, you've lost me.
All right, then. You shouldn't give your attention to Earth. The current script is the final version because it is the best version. What letter? Destroyed this
Well, Director Mario?
No. Who on earth would write such... Absolutely not. Without Lynette,
Yeah, maybe Jillian could fill in for me for a while.
What? No way out of... Ah, I've got it. You can't lie low.
A competitor?
Definitely. Those lowlifes. They're so... Stay strong, Lynette.
So, a competitor? I kinda doubt it. But at the moment... Besides, when I felt that, I'm actually more concerned about Mario. Especially since Maloney... Sounds like there was an original protagonist. Yep. She told me she lives in the Flow of Sandra.
You're most certain.
Lynette? What are you doing?
I've been to the Flow of Sandra plenty of times.
Things are different around here. You
bootlicking morons? I don't know.
Gina, stop that! Go!
Jillian!
No buts. How many times do I have to tell you? That had nothing. If you don't leave right now, I swear.
Jillian! Just because Lady Farina speaks.
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed.
It's okay. I have younger siblings too, so I get it. If you let angsty kids get you riled up, they'll
Well, the situation's a little different in this case.
We heard about it from Maloney.
Maloney, huh? I'm sorry. I never mentioned it because Director Mariu was very. What's this? I don't know,
Don't be scared, Jillian.
Okay. It's true. I've worked with Director Mariu many times before. A few months ago, Mariu started working on a new. He was hesitant, but he agreed.
There's been a change of plan.
Lynette? But.
And that's why we cannot afford to. Jillian, next time.
I was incredibly disappointed at first. Without Lynette, how could we ever convince people to pay? And if the show was a flop with me and then I got to meet you on stage and found that whatever disappointment I had.
By wasn't bad, you mean it wasn't great either.
He did make some changes to the script. Jaik, one of the other actors. He likes to collect Dr. Mariu's old.
Makes sense. I always see him talking to Mariu.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Jillian brought me up to speed on the situation. I'm here to help however I can. Here. That's always the way with pen and paper drafts. Even the final script is full of last-minute There should be a cleaner copy of the original.
No problem. Now activating search mode. I'll go through one page at a time.
I guess I'm finally on the right path of some parts.
I wonder what got into Director
Maybe he's been quietly struggling with something.
Say what you need.
The protagonist returns to the ruins where she began. Yep. That's not something a novice could hope to pull. Frankly, I think that the original script is much... Jillian, shall I go tell Mariu to put you back in the leading role? Huh?
What? Are you serious?
But not such a rare one for me, though, right?
That's different. This isn't you as part of a magic duo.
Fame in small doses has its perks, but too much and I'll get overloaded. But if you play the lead, the fame will be yours, and I get to be free.
It'll never work. There's no way Director Mariu or Maloney would have... The set for Act 4 would need to change, as would changing actors at the last minute is just... Plus, Maloney's friends have already published a ton of articles. If Lynette quit the show and I took her place, if Lynette left, they...
Stop the whole show? But all the people in the troupe, months and months of every...
Consent. And that way, he'll be
You know, it's a little crazy.
No way. It's...
Jillian, you said before. In other words, be honest. You still hope to play the leading role, don't you?
But the thought of putting...
You think they'd be put out?
Jillian, you were more dedicated than... And I think you know that unless we decide to... So take it from me. You would not be...
You guys... Okay. Let's do it.
Yes! I knew you'd come around.
Wonderful. This solves everything.
Wait, but what about the threat?
As long as we stick to the plan, I'll give...
But surely you want to know who it's from?
I doubt they will. It's supposed to be a threat, but they didn't even say... Who knows? Maybe it was just a fan of yours having a moment.
A fan?
Maybe there's someone out there who really appreciates your talent. It's getting late. We should be leaving. Come on.
I'm such an idiot.
Sorry for manhandling you. You looked like you were seconds away from figuring out who sent the letter. It was Gina, Jillian's sister.
Just because Lady Farina speaks highly of you,
I'm so sorry. Gina's always been a strong-willed child.
I guess she must have snuck into the... She idolizes Jillian. To make matters worse, all the critics were... Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. Like I said, getting angry at angsty teenagers, if it was my younger brother or sister and they found I was in Jillian's position once, so I can understand Gina's frustration. No, the way she looks at me is in whoever was giving me that evil we'll find out who it is before too long. On that note, guess I'll see you at the Opera House.
Oh, you're here! Lynette and...
That puppet in the middle, is that Lynette? She's so pretty.
It's starting. Keep your voice down.
Wow, I thought it would be hard to follow, but
Even though her face was expressionless,
Director Merriu really is a master of his craft.
I have a friend who saw the show on the opening day. They thought the...
I can't believe it's only been a few days since the last...
Your penchant for the hyperbolic strikes again.
Well, you know how it is.
What's the matter?
My apologies.
Oh, very, very well.
Are you guys sure this is gonna work? We're already halfway there. We can't...
What is this plan that you're showing?
Director Merriu...
Corantan and Armory have both finished their articles. Was that really Lynette playing the lead role?
Ta-da!
Director Merriu? I was the one playing the lead role just now.
I switched costumes and masks with Jillian so that I could be the protagonist's companion.
Lynette, why on earth would you...
You know my acting is amateur. The only reason I'm being seen as a pro, but if they'd seen me in the leading role during the first half, they wouldn't be expecting anything more. If you force me to play the lead in the second half, they'll be wondering, why is the actress suddenly giving such an underwhelming performance right at the climax of the whole story? These are just some of the questions that will be on everyone's minds during the second half. There's only one way for you to save your...
Absolutely not. If I keep Jillian as the lead for the second half, what will your fans think? They're only here because of you. There'd be tickets to refund, fines. You can't just take a job on a whim.
Director Merriu, please. You're not...
Actually, Jillian, he's half right. But my responsibility here is making sure you get back the role that belongs to you.
And I guess part of that responsibility lies with me, considering I badgered you into accepting the job. Sorry I'm a little late to the show. Work's been keeping me pretty busy lately.
Lenny? What do you...
That might be a little tricky.
What's this?
A draft complaint letter, my contract, your legal fees, reimbursement for the ticket, Mr. Merriu. I'm stepping down from the leading role.
If you do suffer unforeseen financial losses from this, you're free to seek damages as per...
What? Of course. All this Mora, it's... Look at us. We're huge stars. You don't give a hoot how much this show...
That's not true. I do care. And I'm...
Oh, brilliant deduction.
Really? Then why do your eyes tell a different story? Almost as if I've destroyed your work of art.
What?
A couple days ago, I asked some associates to do... Surprise, surprise. Turns out that all the other...
And I would have turned you down too.
You didn't send those invitations because you were looking for a better actress.
Director Merriu.
To get Maloney on your side, you chose to make Jillian the understudy, and then look...
I bet you were torn at first, weren't you? Do you...
Or do you choose Jillian? So that you and your longtime...
Oh,
You mentioned prior success and fame earlier. Or maybe, deep down...
Right now, you have an opportunity to send... Your work would be displayed for Oliphant...
Did you say...
Or will you act now before Maloney and...
The whole truth?
Director Merriu? Actually, most of the...
We've worked with you for many years now. We watched as you slowly started down a path you used to despise. The path of
But this is just a temporary
Yes, we know. But then what happened? You began to embrace the... Surely you must have noticed what's happening. While we've been performing at bigger... Maloney's friends are sycophants.
Look, I know everyone's using the same promotional
Well, it's...
Next time, huh? Yeah. Next time, you won't use your connect.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
I won't turn my back on my dreams any longer, Director Mariyu. No.
Me neither.
I had dream.
Huh. The plot here seems a little different from what the reviews said.
The protagonist wanted to return to the stage, so the puppet...
And in the end, she forgot herself amidst the applause and cheers of her fellow...
Hey, no spoilers! Huh?
Oh, cons.
No need to be so nervous, Director Mary. But in truth, I believe that if we choose our words carefully, there...
You really thought this plan through? What's worrying me now isn't how... It's the audience. What if people only came to see the show for... It feels like I've been hiding inside...
We're right here with you.
Wow. Okay, this ending is much...
I love how they brought back the set from Act 1 and gave it a whole new meaning. What a fantastic twist.
Time for the curtain call. It's the moment of truth. The applause continue after I take off the mask. I could always leave my mask on. No one would ever know.
This is what fame looks like, when it's truly deserved.
Jillian, you were amazing! Well, so are you.
Really? I was so nervous. My legs felt like they turned to jelly.
What looked like an actor unsteady on her feet was in fact a poignant expression of the protagonist's frailty in her last moments.
Hey, Mario! What the heck was that?
Our articles are already going to press.
It was my...
Hey now, it was all of our...
Hold on. The decision was mine, and mine alone.
Marry you? So it...
Director Mariyu, Mr. Maloney, what on earth is going on? Why was Lynette not in the lead role? It took a lot of convincing from me for her to accept the role.
Lenny...
Wait. Lenny, as a matter of fact, in this play, the masks and costumes, we took that idea to the next level with an actor swap, blurring the... It's similar to deceiving the audience in a magic show. It allows the audience to more intuitively understand the
Hold up!
Oh, I see. Well,
that's probably more because you just don't really understand avant-garde art very well, Lynn.
Maybe so, maybe so. Well, perhaps it went over my head, but I'm sure our experts here saw the whole thing coming a mile away.
You must have worked it out by the end of the first half, surely.
Yes, you're right. Director...
Yes, well, to deceive the audience, you must first deceive...
You mean your show was partly inspired by Lynette's background?
Unfortunately, I think Mr. Maloney is going to cancel the show.
Cancel the show? Mr. Maloney, is this true?
While I accept that deceiving the audience in the manner you did,
A very valid criticism, and one that I humbly accept. Plus, it looks like Jillian is better than me at delivering the excellence people want to see.
Maloney, I believe there should still be time to tweak my article.
Oh, one other thing. We managed to get a meeting with Lady Farina earlier. Anyway, she agreed to write a review focusing on Jillian's performance and the quality of the show as a whole. And I'm sure today's audience will be discussing her performance too. There's sure to be—
Oh, I mean, art at its finest, clearly.
Oh, of course.
Quarantine, Amory, let's go.
Do you think this move needs jazzing up a little?
Not jazzing up, per se.
Gina? You snuck in? When?
I'm sorry, Jillian.
Thank you both so much. I always told myself that... just like those critics with their... You're right. Anyway, enough about my problems. I've been looking into it a lot.
Ah, yes, about...
Lynette, do you have a moment?
Wait.
I'm sorry. Gina insisted on coming to see Lynette.
Lynette, I'm sorry!
Yeah, me neither.
Wait.
Oh, do you mean when we ran into you at the Fleuve Sandra? As I recall, you were only trying to look out for...
Oh. Well, it sounds like Gina knows...
I understand that feeling of... But next time, maybe consider a different tactic?
Got it. Thank you.
Why do I feel like I'm missing something here?
Hey, here you are. I was great. Everyone's in one place. What do you think? It's group photo time. Okay, everyone, we all have pretty awkward smiles on our faces in the photo from Hotel de Boer, so
Oh, am I really not allowed to force a smile? I'll try, I suppose. I think I can manage.
Lynette, Traveler, come on. You two should be right in the middle.
3, 2, 1, smile!
Thank you. I always told my... just like those critics with their... You're right.
That letter? I was the one who wrote it.
What?
Gina? So it was you?
Director, it's time for... Oh, okay. Weird energy here.
I think we came at a bad time.
Lynette, Gina must have been worried sick about me, I'm sure.
Jillian, no! This is completely my fault, and...
Well, since I haven't actually suffered, maybe we could just... let this one slide.
Really? Are you sure?
After all, Gina wouldn't be the first person. In any case, I think we can all agree.
But still, I was...
If that's what you really want, then how about helping out backstage?
Huh? Backstage?
The crew could always use an extra hand. Plus...
Thank you, Lynette. Really.
Is it? I'm so much more at home here in the audience. I get to sit on a comfy seat, and I don't have to activate my energy-consuming modes all the time. Mary, you said she's a very promising young actress, and she has natural chemistry with her older sister. Phew. Freedom at last. Fame is more trouble than it's worth. I'd rather leave that side of things to my brother and the others. I'm happiest when I get to sit in a quiet place. Yep, exactly like I'm doing now.
Ad Astra Abyss. Thank you for